Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man wala. We stopped the other day when we only had a little bit left in Al-Hadeeth al-Thani wal-Arba'ūn, the 42nd Hadith. He says, Ya ibn Adam, إنك لو أتيتني بقراب الأرض خطايا ثم لقيتني لا تشرك بي شيئا لا أتيتك بقرابها مغفرة. O son of Adam, if you came to me with what is close to the earth in sins, and you met me without committing shirk with me or any partners with me, then I will come to you with close to that in maghfirah. That's where we left off, right?
Yeah. But you said be Qurabi or be Qurabi?
Bi Qurabi.
Okay.
Bi Qurabi. Qurab al-ard. Qurab al-ard. Meaning close to, like the word qarib. Qurab al-ard, almost as much as the earth. Mil al-ard, mil, it could be mil'u or mil'i, because we're basically giving a synonym here for qurabi, right? Mil'i, the earth full, right? Mil al-ard, the earth full of, basically full of the earth, the whole earth that size. Min al-dhunubi, min al-dhunubi, of sins. Aw ma yuqaribu, or what is close, mil'iha, or mil'aha, asif, mil'aha. Yuqarib here is form 3 verb, right? Mil al-ard, full, the earth full of, min al-dhunub, of sins. That much, if you came with that much, the size of the earth. O ma yuqaribu mil'aha, or what is close to the earth being full of it. La ataytuka, this lam is a lam of emphasis. La ataytuka biqurabiha, with close to that, maghfirah. Meaning, if you came with almost as much as the earth, I will come with almost as much as the earth in forgiveness. Right? Not that he's going to almost forgive as much sins as you have, but if it was almost as much as the earth, he's going to have almost as much forgiveness. That amount. And not that he wouldn't have full forgiveness. He will have full forgiveness. He just, if you came with the earth full, it'd be full of forgiveness. If you came close to the earth, you came close to that much forgiveness. I don't want anyone to think that it means that he's going to come with almost as much forgiveness as your sins. No. You have almost as much as the earth, so he has almost as much of the earth in forgiveness. Wa maghfiratullahi, and the forgiveness of Allah Azza wa Jal, awsa'u, is wider from wasa'a, wasi'a, samawati wal ard, wa awsa', meaning wider, more vast, right? Not just wider, but vaster. Min dhanbik, than your sins, subhanahu, right? The maghfiratullahi, the forgiveness of Allah, awsa'u min dhanbik, is wider, more vast than your sins, subhanahu. Any questions?
Yeah.
He says, wahuna, in here, intahat, which is a form 7 verb. Wahuna intahat, and you can put a kasra there if you start there. Wahuna intahat ahadithu al-imami Abi Zakariya al-Nawawiyyah. Here it ends, intaha, right? Intahat. because a hadith is plural and it's غير عاقل. So انتهت أحاديث, the hadith of Imam Abi Zakaria al-Nawawi, that's his kunya, Abu Zakaria, his hadith end here, rahimahullah. ثم الآن, and now يبدأ بإضافة, يبدأ from بدأ يبدأ, to begin. إضافة is the additions. أضاف يضيف, right? Additions. Al-Hafiz Ibn Rajab. And now it begins with the additions of Al-Hafiz Ibn Rajab. Though Ibn Rajab has these 8 hadith. Lamma, from basically when, or no, not lima, to what he, not lamma, lima. Lima adafahu, to what he added. Wastadrakahu, wastadrakahu. That's a sukoon on the dal. Stadrakahu. Istadraka means to make amendments. To make amendments. It could be just to add, or it could be to take away, or it could be to fix. It doesn't necessarily mean only additions, as we see here. Istadrak, basically he's saying, we have a famous book of Al-Hakim called Al-Mustadrak ala Sahihain. The Mustadrak on the 2 Sahihs, Bukhari and Muslim. He talks in there about hadith that are on the conditions of Bukhari and Muslim that they did not put in their books. He's basically saying they should have put them in there. And there are hadith which he feels that are in their books that don't meet their conditions the way that they stated their conditions were. Right? And so he brings hadith that he believes should have been in the Sahihain, and he says these hadith should not have been in there. Right? It's a famous book, 10 volumes. I know, Abdullah, you got it. It's on your shelf. I remember seeing it. I remember when we bought it a long time ago. Right? Istidrakat could be if you have a dars and then you come back the next class and you say, last week I said this, but I meant this. Yesterday I said this, but I meant that. That's istadraka. Right? Lima adafahu wastadrakahu ala al-ithnaini wa ithnaini wa arba'īna hadithan min ahadithi an-Nawawiyyah. From what he made these corrections or amendments to the 42 hadith from the hadith of an-Nawawi. So, وهنا انتهت أحاديث الإمام أبي زكريا النووي رحمه الله. Here, the hadith of an-Nawawi, they ended. ثم الآن يبدأ بإضافة الحافظ ibn Rajab. And here we begin with the additions of Al-Hafiz ibn Rajab. Lima, for what he أضافه واستدركه على الاثنين والأربعين hadithan, from what he added to and amended to the 42 hadith min ahadith an-Nawawi, from the hadith of an-Nawawi. Clear?
نعم.
تفضل.
يا ابن آدم إنك لو أتيتني بقراب الأرض خطايا ثم لقيتني لا تشرك به شيئا لا أتيتك بقرابها مغفرة. قراب الأرض ملء الأرض من الذنوب أو ما يقارب ملءها لأتيتك بقرابها مغفرة ومغفرة الله عز وجل أوسع من ذنبك سبحانه. وهنا انتهت حديث الإمام أبي زكريا النووي رحمه الله. ثم أن يبدأ بإضافة الحافظ ابن رجب لما أضافته واستدركه على 42 حديثا من أحاديث النووي.
نعم.
يا ابن آدم إنك لو أعطيتني بقراب الأرض خطايا ثم لقيتني لا تشرك بي شيئا لآتيتك بقربها مغفرة. قرب الأرض منه الأرض من ذنوبي أو ما يقارب ملءها لآتيتك بقربها مغفرة ومغفرة الله عز وجل أوسع من ذنوبك سبحانه. وهنا انتهت حديث الإمام أبي زكريا نووي رحمه الله. ثم الآن يبدأ بإضافة الحفيظ ابن رجب بما أضافه واستدركه على 42 حديثا من أحاديث نووي.
No.
Is that little line on the next page that go up there?
No.
Okay.
It says Zada ibn Rajab. Zada ibn Rajabin.
Yeah.
Ibn Rajab, he added. Zada, he increased. He added. Zada yazidu, to increase, to add. Right? Rahimahullah. These hadith here. Right? Al-Hadith al-Thalith wa al-Arba'īn. عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Should not be this next qala. You don't have all those qalas, right? You're only going to have two qalas. Qala for Ibn Abbas and qala for Rasulullah. So it's either going to be عن ابن عباس قال Rasulullah qal, but that doesn't really make sense. So that last qal we get rid of. You could say an Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam or an Rasulullah sallam qal, but not qala then qala. No. Right? Alhiqu al-fara'ida bi ahliha. Alhiqu al-fara'ida bi ahliha. فما أبقت because it's really it's really a sukun. فَمَا أَبْقَتْ. So when we do reading purposes, it's going to be a kasra, right? أَبْقَتِ الْفَرَائِدُ فَلِأَوْلَى رَجُلٍ ذَكَرٍ. He said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, alhiqu. Alhiqu means to, basically here it means to give, but the word itself doesn't mean like to give. It means like to meet or to attach something, right? But here it means to give, right? You can see the connection, inshallah, with the translation, inshallah. Alhiqu al-fara'ida. Al-fara'id are the inheritance shares, the shares of inheritance. The shares of inheritance. Bi ahliha, with its people, with those who are, as we said, deserving of it, right? The ahl are those who are deserving. It means the family, but it also means those who are deserving, mean those people who deserve it. Because you say, okay, we're family, but does that person receive a share of inheritance according to what Allah and His Messenger sent down? So it means the family, because those are the people who inherit, but it also means those who are deserving, meaning who Allah said gets what? So alhiqu al-fara'ida, fara'ida being the maf'ulun bihi, give or meet or attach the shares of inheritance to their people or to who deserves them. فَمَا أَبْقَتْ. فَمَا أَبْقَتْ. So whatever is left from baqiya, whatever is left, al-fara'idu, so whatever shares are left, right? فَلِأَوْلَى رَجُلٍ ذَكَرٍ. Then for the male who is deserving, rajulun dhakarin, meaning a male, making sure that he clarifies it's a male. There's a lot of times when we say, for instance, we use words like rajul or mar'u, those words mean male, men. However, it's referring to women as well. You understand? So for instance, al-mar'u ala dini khalilihi falyanzur man yukhalid. The man is on the friend of his, is on the religion of his friend. So be careful of who he befriends or you befriend, right? This doesn't mean that a man, this is his situation. No, it's a woman too, although the word mar'u or rajulu was used. So here, when he says dhakarin, he's clarifying male. Even though the word rajul here means male, he's clarifying male so that we don't think female as well. So alhiqu al-fara'ida bi ahliha. Attach the shares of inheritance to those who are deserving. فَمَا أَبْقَتِ الْفَرَائِدُ. So whatever remains from the shares, فَلِأَوْلَى رَجُلٍ ذَكَرٍ. Then for the closest or the most deserving of the males. And he's going to explain it, inshallah ta'ala. Although it's going to take more explanation for me, and Allah knows best, right? Unless you studied inheritance before, it's going to take some explanation. And I haven't studied it myself. I had to call and ask about some of the words in here. The words, I understood them, but I didn't understand them in the context of inheritance, because I haven't studied that rule, that subject. He says, Saqa rahimahullah hadha al-hadith. He brought this hadith, li bayani usuli qismati التركات. He brought this hadith, rahimahullah, to clarify the foundations, the usul, the principles, qismati, of dividing التركات. التركات from ta ra kaf, meaning to abandon or to leave. التركات, those things that you left behind. التركات, meaning whatever you left behind, this is considered a tarikat when you die. These are a tarikat. How to divide, this is for the clarification of the foundations or the principles for dividing what is left after one dies. فَإِنْدَنَا أَصْحَابُ فُرُوضٍ وَإِنْدَنَا أَصْحَابُ عَصَبَةٍ. We have indana, we have ashabu furud. We have people of furud, meaning people of shares of inheritance. Another word for fara'ida, right? Or fara'id. Furud, another way of making it plural. Wa indana ashabu asaba. And we have people who are asaba. Asaba comes from the word like here meaning family or tribe, right? However, the meaning here is furud. Ashabu furud means those people who Allah or His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned in the Quran or in the Sunnah who receive inheritance, right? Wa ashabu asaba are those who are close to you but they do not receive inheritance, right? They will not receive inheritance like by Allah and His Messenger. They don't have already a right. So for instance, a person has daughters and say that's it, right? And a mother or something. And I'm not sure of all these shares. So anyone, you listening, Abdullah and Abu Sumayya, or anyone else might be listening later on, I'm not saying that these are the shares that a person gets. But say a person has daughters when he dies. No sons, no wife, right? He has daughters and daughters get 2/3. If I'm not mistaken, that's correct. But just for an example, in case I'm wrong. Daughters are going to end up with 2/3. No matter what, they're only going to get 2/3. If there's 3 of them, they split 2/3. If there's 5 of them, they split 2/3. Right? If there was no one else, we'll say there's still 1/3 left. What happens to that 1/3? Or what happens if there was, for instance, your mother? She was left and she was a Muslim. She gets 1/6. So now you still have 1/6 left because you gave 2/3 to the daughters and 1/6 to the mother. What happens with that final 1/6? That 1/6 goes to ashabu asaba, those closest male relatives who are not guaranteed a portion of inheritance. So he says, فَهُنَا قَا. So here he says, أَلْحِقُوا الْفَرَائِدَ بِأَهْلِهَا. Basically, give the inheritance to their people. يعني أَلْحِقُوا الْفَرَائِدَ بِأَصْحَابِ الْفَرَائِدِ. Right? Give the shares of inheritance to the people of the shares. Right? مِنَ النُّصْفِ, from half. Oh, ruba'i, right? Oh, ruba'i. Oh, thuluthi. Oh, sudusi. Oh, thumuni. Oh, thuluthain. He says, Alhiku al-fara'ida, attach or meet or give the shares bi ashab al-fara'idi, to the people of the shares. meaning those people who Allah gave them. Min an-nis, from half, or ruba, or waruba, or a fourth, wa thuluth, a third, wa sudus, a sixth, wa thumin, an eighth, wa thulathain, or 2/3. Right? هذه الفرائض, these shares, ألحقوها بأهلها, meet or attach them or give them to their people. Right? من الورثة, from the waratha, meaning those people who inherit, al-ashara, those 10 inheritors, min al-rijal, those 10 inheritors from the men. Wa min al-warithat, should be waritha, no, waratha, that's right. Min al-warathat as-sab'a, min an-nisa, and from those 7 inheritors from the women. Meaning there are 10 categories that are mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah of men who inherit a certain portion. And there are 7 categories of women, 7 types of women who inherit from the Quran and Sunnah. These are called waratha wa warithat, right? These men and women who inherit. فَإِذَا بَقِيَ شَيْءٍ, so if anything remains, مِنَ الْمَالِ, مِنْ أَصْحَابِ فُرُوضٍ, from the people of the shares, those people who were assigned a share, فَهِيَ لِأَقْرَبِ, then they are for, hiya, meaning the shares, the furud, what's left over. What is left over? لِأَقْرَبِ عَاصِبٍ, asibin, for the closest relative, the closest tribe member or family member. Min al-bunuwa, abuwa, bunuwa, abuwati, akhuwati, umumati, wala. From the bunua. And all of these words, bunua, abuwa, akhuwa, umuma, wala, all of them could have a wa or an aw. Min al-bunua, wa abuwa, wa akhuwa, wa umuma, wa wala, or min al-bunua, o abuwa, o akhuwa, o umuma, o, that could be like that. Here, he just started rattling stuff off. We could say it could be red, or it could be green, or it could be blue, or it could be yellow. Or it's either red, blue, green, yellow. We do the same thing in English, right? We just add them, right? So he says, min al-banua. So, فَإِذَا بَقِيَ شَيْءٌ مِنَ الْمَالِ مِنْ أَصْحَابِ الْفُرُوضِ. So if anything is left over from the wealth, from the people of assigned shares, فَهِيَ لِأَقْرَبِ عَاصِبٍ, then it's for the closest relative, min al-bunua, meaning from the sons, like ibn, bunua, or ubuwa, or fathers, right? Not always necessarily is the father or the son going to inherit. Or, give me a minute, akhuwa, brotherhood, his brother, his sons, his fathers, his brother. Not always is the brother going to inherit. Umuma, from the mother side, like the aunts or somebody from the mother side, right? And wala. Wala here being related to the word mawla. We might find in a lot of asanid, Nafi' mawla ibn Umar. For instance, Nafi' is the mawla of Ibn Umar. He's the freed slave of Ibn Omar. So if someone were to buy someone as a slave, right, and then free him, this person is called Mawla Ibn Omar. And a lot of times they would even take their tribal name, because maybe that person was stolen, his parents were stolen, his parents were stolen, and they would not know their lineage or know their name for where they were from. So they would become Mawla Ibn Omar or Mawla Bani so-and-so. The Mawla of the tribe of so-and-so, because that's where they lived at. That's where they grew up at. So they would be known as them. So, if there were children who did not inherit, or parents who did not inherit, or brothers who did not inherit, or aunts, uncles like this who did not inherit from the assigned inheritance, and there is something left, then this portion goes to them, the closest of them, the sons, then the fathers, then the brothers, then the aunts on the mother's side. Then wala. If there's something left, then you can give it to, for instance, someone accepted Islam, and he was a, because inheritance doesn't come from kafirs and it doesn't go to kafirs. The kafirs don't inherit from the Muslims, and the Muslims don't inherit from the kafirs. So, a person accepted Islam, he didn't have any other family members, and he was freed as a slave. Who gets his inheritance? The person who freed him. The person who freed him. Right? This is wala. This is wala here. Right? And this is al-banuwa abuwatin. It should be abuwatin because it doesn't have alif lam. Akhuwatin, it doesn't have alif lam. Right? Amumatin, wala'in. But if it all had alif lam, then it would be like that. Al-banuwa, al-abuwa, al-akhuwa, like that. He started out with a definite article and then he didn't say the rest of them with it. That's just us. Right? So, you give whatever's left over to whoever you are. So, for instance, say a person accepted Islam as a free person, in these days of ours right now, in the 15th century of Hijrah. Someone accepted Islam, and he didn't have any family members because all his family were kuffar. The person who gave him shahada would inherit from him. He would inherit from him. This is like his mawla. Right? This is like his mawla. This is wala. لذلك قال, due to that he said, ألحقوا الفرائض بأهلها, meet or attach or give the shares to their people, to those who are deserving. أعطيتم أصحاب الفروض فردهم. You gave Ashab al-Furud, you gave the people of the shares, fardahum, their share. فَإِذَا بَقِيَ شَيْءٍ, so if anything remains, فَمَا أَبْقَتْ, right? فَمَا أَبْقَتْ الرَّجُلَ فَمَا أَبْقَتْ الرَّجُلَ فَأَوْلَى, then he is الرَّجُل, the man, he is أَوْلَى, he is more deserving. يعني فَالْأَقْرَبْ, oh no, فَلِأَقْرَبْ, not fal comes before verbs. فَلِأَقْرَبْ فَلِأَقْرَبِ رَجُلٍ ذَكَرٍ, then for the closest male relative, basically, that did not receive a share. لِأَنَّ, because جَمِيعَ الْعَصَبَةِ, لِأَنَّ, because all of the asaba, the tribe or family, kulluhum dhukurun, they're males. Meaning here, asaba not meaning family. This is going back to this technical term up here, ashabul asaba, meaning those family members who didn't receive a share. So here, Jami' al-Asaba, meaning those people who are possible to receive a share, but were not assigned a share. Kulluhum dhukur, all of them are men. Siwa al-wala, except for this wala, except for this being freed. Except for, so for instance, if a woman had a slave and she freed him, and he had no one else, he wasn't married, didn't have any kids, no wife, no Muslim parents or anything, she would inherit from him due to this condition here, right? She would inherit from him, except this, siwa al-wala. If a woman gave a man shahada, they were in the bus, he said, well, what is that dress you're wearing? And she told him about Islam, and he accepted Islam, and, you know, she kept in touch with him. She was an older lady, and he was a younger man, and there was no, you know, they kept in touch only for dawah purposes. And he died, didn't have anybody. She could inherit from him. But the hadith says, فَمَا أَبْقَتِ الْفَرَائِدُ, so whatever remains of the fara'id, the shares, فَلِأَوْلَى رَجُلٌ ذَكَرٍ, then it is for the closest male. So all of the asaba, those people who are not assigned a share, they're men, كُلُّهُمْ ذُكُورٌ سِوَاءَ الْوَلَى, except for this wala. لِذَا قال, due to that, or to that end, قال الرحبي. Ar-Rahabi is a man who wrote a book on fara'id, on inheritance. And it's the basic book that when a student wants to study fara'id, he'll study this book. It's called Ar-Rahabiyya. Ar-Rahabiyya. It's a book about this subject, right? Due to that, or towards that end, قال Ar-Rahabiyyu, he said, وَلَيْسَ فِي نِسَاء, and there is not in the women, طَرَّ عَصَبَةً, طُرَّ عَصَبَةً. طُرَّ here means not at all. They don't have any share. طُرَّ, they don't have any share of this asaba, of this being close to sharing without having the right given to them by Allah, right? Going back up here, those who were given and assigned that share, they're not turra asaba. There's not for them any part of this, illa allati, except for the one here, feminine, talking about the one, mannat bi'itqi raqaba, except for the one who was mannat, basically given the favor of freeing a slave. Bi'itqi raqaba. Raqaba is the neck, but it means here the slave, right? The one who frees the slave. Mannat raqaba. Bi'itqi raqaba. She was given the favor of, or she had the favor of freeing a slave. Then she can inherit if there's something left over. Other than that, all of what's left over besides that from the furud, from the fara'id, then it's left to men. Right? It's left to men after the assigned shares are given. Is left to the closest male relatives. From the min al-banuwa, the sons, wal abuwa, the fathers, wal akhuwa, the brothers, wal umuma, the aunts, are from those from the mother's side, wal wala. Wal wala, if there's something left over after that, then they would give it to If that happens to be the closest, there is no Banua, Abua, Akhua, Umuma. What's left here is Wala. Then you would give it to that person, even if it was a woman. Got it?
No.
The important part is to understand the Arabic, but you can't understand the Arabic without understanding a little bit of the concept, you know? تفضل اقرأ لنا. You got it.
الحديث الثالث والأربعون عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ألحق الفرائض بأهلها فما أبقت الفرائض فلأول رجل ذكر ساق رحمه الله هذا الحديث لبيان أصول قسمة التركات فعندنا أصحاب فروض وعندنا أصحاب السبت فهنا قال ألحقوا الفرائض بأهلها يعني ألحقوا الفرائض بأصحاب الفرائض من النصف والربع والثلث والسدس والثمون والثلثين هذه الفرائض حقوها بأهلها من الوراثة الأشرة من الرجال ومن الورثة السبع من النساء فإذا بقي شيء من المال من أصحاب الفرائض فهي الإقراب آسب من البنوة أبوة أخوة أموة ولاء لذلك قال الحقوا الفرائض بأهلها أعطيتم أصحاب الفروض فردهم فإذا بقي شيء فما أبقت الرجل فالأولى يعني فلأقرب رجل ذكر لأن جميع الأسبات كلهم ثبور سوى الولاء لذلك قال الوهابي وليس من النساء طرا أصبت إلا التي منت بأتك رقبة.
نعم.
الحديث الثالث والأربعون عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم هل يكون فراهد بأهلها فما أبقت الفراهد فلأولى رجل ذكر ساق رحمه الله هذا الحديث لبيان أصول قسمة تركات. فعندنا أصحاب الفروض وعندنا أصحاب عصابة. فهنا قال الحق الفراحد لأهلها، يعني الحق الفراحد لأصحاب الفراحد من النصف والربع والثلث والسدس والثمن والثلثين. هذا الفرائض ألحقها لأهلها من الورثة العشرة من الرجال، ومن الورثة السبع من النساء. وإذا بقي شيء من المال من أصحاب الفروض فهي لأقرب عاصب من البنوة وأبوة وأخوة أمومة والله. لذلك قال ألئكون الفراهد بوالها أعطيتم أصحاب الفروض فرضهم، وإذا بقي شيء فما أبقت الرجل فالأولى، يعني ولأقرب الرجل الذكر، لأن جمع العصبة كلهم ذكور سوى الولاء. لذا قال الوهابي وليس في نساء ترى عصبة إلا التي منت بعتق رقبة.
No. رقبة, but yeah, I just wrote that. نعم. الحديث الرابع والأربعون. The 44th hadith. عن عائشة رضي الله عنها عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال الرضاعة تحرم ما تحرم الولادة. This hadith from Aisha radiallahu anha is much easier to understand, inshallah ta'ala. She said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said ar-rada'a, breastfeeding, tuharrimu, it prevents or it makes haram, ma tuharrimu al-wilada, whatever giving birth makes haram. Meaning, if a woman gives birth to a child, whatever becomes haram, meaning from relationships and so on, because of that, then breastfeeding does the same. So if a woman has a boy and a girl, she gives natural birth to a boy and a girl. Can that boy and girl marry one another? No. Can that boy be a mahram for her and travel with her? Can a man travel with his sister and be a mahram for her and take after her and look after her and travel with her to Mecca and make Hajj or Umrah and so on and so forth? Yes. So the same thing if a boy, if she has a girl from natural birth, and then she breastfeeds a boy from someone else with and she meets the conditions as he's going to explain, then that boy and that girl are now like brother and sister. And he can travel with her, he can be alone with her, she can be uncovered in front of her, they cannot marry, right? All those things which are prohibited by wilada, being brother and sister from birth, are prohibited by rida'a. If she breastfeeds one boy from one family, she breastfed my son, and she breastfed Abu Sumayya's daughter. She breastfed Muawiyah, and she breastfed Sumayya. Abu Sumayya is from Africa, and I'm from America. He lives in Canada, I'm in America, I'm in Kuwait. We ain't never met, we ain't never did nothing. However, Muawiyah and Sumayya are prohibited to each other. They're brother and sister. Right? They're brother and sister because of the breastfeeding. Ar-rada'atu tuharrimu ma tuharrimu al-wilada. Saq rahimahullah hadha al-hadith. He brought this hadith li bayani, to clarify, anna, that, ahkama, mansub after anna, ar-rada'ati, that the ahkam, the rulings of breastfeeding, laha, huh? نعم رضاعتي هذا مضاف مضاف إليه. The rulings of breastfeeding. لها, they have أحكام النصب. They have the rulings of lineage. بشروطه. Right? بشروطه. With its conditions. So, the rulings of breastfeeding, they have the same rulings of nasab, same rulings of lineage, right? With conditions, with its conditions. فَيَشْتَرِطُ يَشْتَرِطُ. So it is a condition, basically. في رضاعي. في rada'i. For the one who is, or in this, rada'i is basically for rada'a. Same word, same concept. Fi rada'i. In this breastfeeding, an yakuna, that they be khamsa rada'at. Fasa'ida. Did it be 5 breastfeedings, 5 times that the baby latched on? Fasa'ida, and above. Fasa'ida means and above. Sa'ida from Sa'ad Ain Dal, meaning to go up. Fasa'ida. And to
It had to be at least 5 times.
At least 5 times. Otherwise, it's not considered. They're not considered brother and sister. Brother and brother, sister and sister. Right? So, a woman, for instance, if you remember Zubair, right, Abdullah?
No.
His wife breastfed Muawiyah more than 5 times, right? So she's his mother. Muawiyah is 11 years old, and so somebody might say, well, he could still be around women because he's 11. Muawiyah's a big dude. He started noticing things he should, so he should not be around women. But her, that's his mom. He can go around her. His sister, or his daughter, Zubair's daughter, is his sister. You understand? Zubair is like his father. You understand? Zubair is the one that supplied the milk for his wife. You understand? He's the one that fed her. He's the one that Zubair is like Muawiyah's father. His brothers are like Muawiyah's brothers. If Zubair's daughter wants to go to Umrah and her brothers are all overseas studying somewhere, Muawiyah could take her to Umrah or Hajj or travel with her back to Bosnia to visit somebody, whatever. Right? Okay. The same thing with Zubair's wife. Huh?
Okay, what if it was reversed? It was the same situation, but you had a daughter and they had a son.
Same thing. If I had a daughter, If I had a daughter, she could go around Zubair.
Okay.
Zubair is like the father. He supplied the milk. Right? Same thing. Now, does that mean I'm Muawiyah's father? Does that mean that I can go around Zubair's wife? No. Does that mean that I can go around Zubair's daughter? No. But Muawiyah, he can. Right? So 5 and above. وَأَن تَكُونَ, and that they be, this rada'at, ma duna hawlain, that the child, right, takun, or you be, duna hawlain. Hawlain means here 2 years. You got to be under 2 years old. Right? The baby has to be less than 2 years old when it breastfeeds. These 5 times. Right? Can't be older than that.
They're not supposed to breastfeed past that, no way.
We agree. But back then, you got to realize they didn't keep a birth date exactly when they were born and all that. They didn't have calendars the way we do now. So you could say, well, you know, he still needs milk, and you know, you wean them off and they're off, but that doesn't mean they're that day. But if it was found out that it was after that time later on, then it wouldn't count. فَإِن تَوَفَّرَ, Form 5, الشرطان, if the 2 conditions, tawaffara, meaning they were, tawaffara means to, like, to be available. Here, it doesn't mean available. It means if they were like fulfilled, if they were there. فَإِن تَوَفَّرَ الشَّرْطَانِ, if the 2 conditions were met, basically. فَإِن مَنْ رَضَعَ, فَإِن, so therefore, فَإِن مَنْ رَضَعَ يَكُونُ كَأَنَّهُ, as if he is muntasibun. Muntasibun, meaning attributed to, like the word nasab, lineage, as if he is muntasib, if he's connected, he's attributed to li ashabil laban, or li sahibi laban, to the companion of the milk, right, to the one who gave the milk. Yani كأنه خرج من بطن زوجته تماما. كأنه خرج من بطن زوجته تماما, that he had come out from the stomach of his wife, tamaman, meaning 100%, completely. So Muawiyah is like Zubair's son, tamaman, 100%, because he breastfed from his wife. You understand? لذلك يحرم من الرضاعة ما يحرم من الولادة. يحرم من الرضاعة ما يحرم من الولادة. What is prohibited from breastfeeding is prohibited from childbirth. Now, do you guys want to read that, or do you just want me to keep reading for some time? Because we're almost out of time, but you know, it's up to you. Do you want me to just keep reading and we read tomorrow, or you guys read tomorrow? Or you guys want to stop here and read that and we start tomorrow more?
No, finish it.
Okay.
Just don't finish reading it then.
No. وَفِي لَفْظٍ, and in one wording, مِنَ النَّسَبِ, meaning, he says, مَا تُحْرِمُ مِنَ النَّسَبِ, right? The الرَّضَاعَةُ تُحَرِّمُ مَا تُحَرِّمُ مِنَ النَّسَبِ, right? What is prohibited from lineage. يعني, meaning, لو أن طفلا if that a child, a young child, rada'a, he drank, breastfed, min zawjatik, from your wife. هذا الطفل, this child, كأنه ولد لك, as if he is a son to you. خرج من بطن زوجتك, as if he came out from the belly of your wife. فيكون, so he is mahraman. He is a mahram, meaning someone who can travel and be around and see them uncovered. Mahraman li banatika, to your daughters. Fi safari, and traveling, wa ghayrihi, and other than that. Now, if you have two wives, Abdullah, right? If you have two wives, and one of your wives breastfeeds Muawiyah and the other one doesn't, and you have daughters from both wives, just because you're Sahib al-Leban doesn't necessarily mean that the daughters from the other wife are now prohibited to Muawiyah. But that wife, fi safari wa ghayrihi, wala yuzawwiju, meaning he doesn't marry your daughters. La yuzawwiju, doesn't marry them. Walahu jami'u ahkam, it's a sukoon, ahkam al-nasabi siwa al-irth. And we can see now the relation to the hadith before it. And for him are all of the rulings of lineage except inheritance. Ma yarithu, he doesn't inherit. لأن, because min shurut al-irth, from the conditions of irth, this lineage, this inheritance, an-nasab, is an-nasab, meaning actual lineage. War-rada'atu, and this breastfeeding, yakhruju min an-nasab, it comes out of nasab here. It's not actually nasab, right? It's as if it's nasab, but it's not. So everything that brothers and sisters can do, then brothers and sisters from breastfeeding can do, except inheritance. Brothers and sisters can inherit from one another, while they do not. And the same thing, if the woman died and all her kids received something, the one who she breastfed doesn't receive anything. He's not her kid like that, but everything else is included. Wa amma al-ikhwa, as for the brothers, al-murtada'i, because it's mudaf ilayh, right? As for the brothers or sisters, right, of the murtada, of the one who is breastfed, wa walida al-murtada, and the two parents, walidan, but because it's mudaf ilayh, we drop our noon. And the two parents of the murtada, the one breastfed, فَلَيْسَ لَهُمْ أَحْكَامُ الْمُرْتَدَى, then they don't have the rulings of the one who is breastfed. They don't have that. So me, I can't be around, Zubair's wife. I can't be around his daughters. They're prohibited to me, right? Furu'uhu, right? Furu'uhu lahu ahkam nafsihi. This is like a whole nother sentence. His offspring, his furu'. Furu' are branches. Furu' are branches. Here it means the offspring of the one who is breastfed. Right? Lahu ahkam nafsi. They have the same ruling as he does. أحكام نفسه, the same rulings as himself. يعني, meaning, أولاد الطفل الصغير, the children of the young boy who is breastfed. إذا كبر, when he gets big, when he gets older. يقولون, they say, هذه, this woman, أبي من الرضاعة. This is the mother of my father from رضاعة. Meaning, she's like his grandma. So Muawiyah has kids. That woman will be like the grandma to Muawiyah's kids. Meaning his kids can be around. Right? فَتَكْشُفُ لِأَوْلَادِهِ. So she can uncover in front of his children. Meaning Zubair's wife can uncover in front of Muawiyah's children. وَأَوْلَادِ صَاحِبِ اللَّبَنِ. وَأَوْلَادِ صَاحِبِ اللَّبَنِ. And vice versa, like you asked, and in front of the children of the one who supplied the milk. So if it was a daughter, she could appear in front of Zubair. If I had a daughter, she could appear in front of Zubair without her hijab on, and Zubair could take her places and travel with her, and so on and so forth. لا يحلون لإخوة المرتدي. لإخوة is not permissible. يحلون from halal, from the brothers of the murtada. Right? Meaning, this is a whole new phrase here. This is a whole. وَأَوْلَادِ صَاحِبَ اللَّبَنِ. That's how it is. وَأَوْلَادِ صَاحِبَ اللَّبَنِ. And the children of the owner or companion of the milk. لَا يَحِلُّونَ لِإِخْوَةِ الْمُرْتَدَى. They're not permissible for their brothers of milk. Basically, we already talked about that. They don't marry. فَاللَّبَنِ, for this milk, اللَّبَنُ, the milk, تَنْتَشِرُ, it spreads. مَحْرَمِيَّتُهُ, mahramiyya, from the word mahram. Mahramiyatuhu. It spreads the fact of it being mahram, the act of being impermissible for one another and being able to be around one another. Fi at-tifli wa furu'ihi. Wa fi furu'ihi. And in his children. So this milk, like we said, it spreads this act of being impermissible for one another, and the act that you can be around one another and travel with one another and so on and so forth, in the child itself and in his offspring. So just like Muawiyah can be around Zubair's daughter, then Muawiyah's grandchildren can be around Zubair's daughter. She will be like her aunt. She will be like their aunt. When Muawiyah has children, she will be like their aunt, because he's her brother from Rabah. Right? And his children can go around Zubair's wife, and so on and so forth. Right? It's easier than the first hadith, at least to me.
But I think the brother by Laban can also be Aswab.
Huh?
I said the brother through the breastfeeding could also fall into the Alul Aswab. Alul Aswaba.
Possible. Possible. They could fall into the people of Asaba, that's possible. But they're not from the people who inherit. Irth is inheritance, meaning those assigned shares. You see what I'm saying? If you had a for instance, my dad is a kafir. When he dies, hopefully he dies a Muslim. May Allah guide him. But if he dies, if he leaves in his will, I want my son to have this motorcycle. Can he do that to me? There's a hadith which says the kafir doesn't inherit from the Muslim and the Muslim doesn't inherit from the kafir. Can my father leave me his motorcycle?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Why?
That's not inheritance.
It's not inheritance. That's a will. That's a wasiyah. There's a wasiyah and there's irth. Irth is nisf, wa thuluth, wa sudus, wa ruba, wa thumin, wa thuluthain. That's what Allah says who gets what. This is irth. But for instance, can I say I'm going to leave my books to the masjid? Can I do that?
No.
Yeah, that's not irth. That's wasiyah. And I can do that up to 1/3 of my wealth. And so my father or whoever else can also leave something to someone. There's a difference between irth and wasiyah. In English, we don't understand because we don't have irth. In English context, in a Western concept, we don't have inheritance. We have what we call a will and a testimony, which is a will. A wasiyah is a will. What I want to give to who I want to give it to. That's a will. I will to give this to so-and-so. But we don't have a necessary inheritance. Now, even in America, the children are not guaranteed to inherit from their family members. If the parents die and they don't have a will, they got to go to court to fight for that inheritance. And the brothers and sisters can fight amongst one another who gets what. Because there is no irth. There's only wasiyah amongst us. But Allah, out of his extreme knowledge and hikmah, he said, no, I'm gonna apply irth. I'm gonna apply this concept and I'm gonna kill all that fighting and quarreling back and forth between brothers and sisters. This who gets what. You understand? And it's much more just because Allah knows and who deserves what, you know? And so we don't have that. So this irth, can he be from the Asaba? Possible. I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't studied the subject. Can he be from Ashab al-Asaba? Is a good possibility. However, he's not from Ashab al-Furud. He's not from those people who are assigned a share. Tayyib? Tomorrow we'll read that in the beginning of the class, and then we'll read the next hadith. We got to finish it in one day, though. So look over it. Look over it. We got to finish it in one day because tomorrow's the last day for about 3 weeks. And we don't want to leave off in the middle of a hadith, do we? Inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.